Sometimes the hardest thing about the job is giving credit to those who don't deserve it. This press conference was hard because of that, but also because it was personal.
Just me.
Oh, here comes the old fart now.
Sorry, guys.
All right, evening, everyone. You want to gather around? All right, just going to quickly introduce myself. My name's Deputy Francis, badge number 311 with the Blaine County Sheriff's Office. I'm joined today with the lead investigator here. I am one of the assistant investigators for this case. 190, if you want to introduce yourself real quick.
Yeah, my name's Deputy O'Neill, Blaine County Sheriff's Office, 190.
We are both the investigators here on the Blaine County Butcher case. We just want to let everyone know we appreciate you coming and getting this information. That way you can circulate it out to all your media sources as well as the public in hopes to hopefully catch this guy sooner rather than later, as we've all learned that this is not a pleasant person to be around and that we don't want around us. So I'm going to turn it over to Deputy O'Neill. He's going to give you a brief background on the case, and then we'll go from there with some of the modern events, and we got some wanted posters as well to hand out to you guys with all the pertinent information on it. So Deputy O'Neill, go ahead and give him a quick background here.
Yeah, thank you. So my colleague there is just going to give you some handouts. We've got both details on two wanted persons that are both related. The first I'll talk about is Ross Cunningham.
Here's those wanted posters for you guys.
All right, thank you.
Hey, there.
Thank you. Okay, so as many of you know, because you've covered this situation from the start, Ross Cunningham initially went by the name given to him by local media, which was initially the BCB, the Blaine County Butcher, and then he was identified as a copycat. So he's been identified as many nicknames: BCB, BCB copycat, etc. We now know his real name to be Ross Cunningham. He had a previous warrant issued for his arrest, and as you know from covering it, he was arrested and incarcerated. However, there was a situation that, again, you've already covered, which was a medical event was falsified at Bolingbroke Penitentiary, which is where he was being housed. He was escorted by Department of Corrections staff towards Pillbox Medical Center, at which point he was freed from custody. We're still investigating the exact details of how that happened. But there was some sort of MVA with his transport vehicle, and he was freed from custody. A statewide manhunt was initiated, including local, state, and federal law enforcement. There was, in the immediate aftermath, contact with this person and with the person who has been assisting him. However, he was able to escape on the day. So the details you've just been given is for the new arrest warrant, which is for San Andreas Penal Code 944.40, escape from lawful custody. He was, as you'll see on the documents in front of you, we've got there that he was last seen at Central Los Santos Medical Center. We've got some further information for you today based on new events that have occurred. As of 2 days ago, so the 11th, I believe, there was an incident across the road from us at the electrical substation. The exact postal for you I can get here in a second. There was a fire which matches the MO of Ross Cunningham. There was also an incident here at the Blaine County Sheriff's Office, which we're also still investigating, so details are light. However, there is information to suggest he is in and around the Sandy Shores area. The images you have on the wanted information are still accurate. So you will see his admission photo to Bolingbroke in his jumpsuit, and also a CCTV image which we have for him. General description is a white male, blonde hair, approximately 120 to 140 pounds, height of 175 centimeters at time of admission to Bolingbroke. No known scars or tattoos or anything like that. Short/medium length blonde hair. So if we could just ask the public to be on the lookout for, should be considered armed and dangerous. He's known to use firearms and explosive devices, as well as bladed articles in the commission of his crimes. I will move on to the second subject in this case. Before we do so, did anybody have any questions about Ross Cunningham?
Yes, Larry Berry, CNT News.
Yes, Larry.
Yes, I've got a question. So if he has been on such a long killing spree and he's been out of prison and escaped for the last 3 or 4 days, why is the Blaine County Sheriff's Department taking so long to notify the public about this?
So immediately upon the notice and the information that he was released and did escape, the Blaine County Sheriff's Office immediately launched an investigation, as we always do. And within 24 hours, warrants were issued for both him and the accomplice that my partner is about to get into, as well as those warrants were circulated across all stations to all deputies, as well as any media member we could get a hold of at the time. The reason it's taken us this long to get a press conference together is we are still finalizing details. And as my partner said, there have been incidents up to this point between the escape and now that we have had to deal with and cover. And unfortunately, with only 2 deputies working the case full time, it takes some time for that information to be processed and for evidence to be collected. And then obviously the information to be gathered so that we can circulate it more regularly and up to date over, giving 3-day-old information. The information you're given today is as of right now, and information that we ourselves have just gotten to.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is he still considered a threat to the public and law enforcement?
Yeah, there's no way beating around the bush, unfortunately. Unfortunately, he absolutely is. That's why we want to get as many people knowing about this as possible. Whilst we don't want to, disrupt people's lives too much, knowing that obviously that he then wins if we change what we do on a daily basis, then they win, right? But on the other hand, we just need people to be alert, and to be. We don't want people paranoid, but we want them to be aware of their surroundings. If they're going out somewhere at night, just think about taking a friend with them or going with a family member. But yeah, he should be considered armed and dangerous to both the public and all law enforcement.
And with that, I will just add that if you do spot this individual, or if any one of the public spots this individual or the other individual that my partner here will get to soon, we do ask that you do not approach them and that you just immediately dial 911, and an officer will be sent as soon as possible to get out there and handle that situation.
Do we know where he was last seen at?
So initially, after the escape from custody, he was seen in the Central Los Santos Hospital area, where a theft occurred, and a theft of medical supplies, as either himself and his accomplice were injured during our pursuit of them. However, obviously, like I said, that was on the 11th. And since then, we have had incidents in Sandy Shores, which makes us believe that his last known location is in the Sandy Shores area.
Man, that's kind of terrifying.
What's his MO?
So, Larry, his MO's initially, as you'll know, Larry, the first Blaine County Butcher, they had a very strict MO, which was using bladed articles such as what we now know from the medical examiner to be hatchets or small axes. That was initially the MO of this suspect as well. However, over time that has changed. He has escalated his behavior. He's escalated his time scale. He's gone from the bladed articles to firearms and to explosive devices as well, including various types of plastic explosive.
And I will say, with the information we have gathered from the only 2 surviving witnesses and victims of Ross, as well as talking with Ross himself at the hospital after he was arrested the first time. We do know that the reason that he changed his MO from the original, hatchets and machetes and all that to explosives and other things was for the fact that media was not giving him attention. He felt that his actions were not being recognized. And that's also why he started targeting law enforcement officers and those of some sort of power, was in hopes to get that attention too.
I'm sure Larry will be well aware of that with the situation with your family members.
Absolutely. As you gentlemen know, I have a little bit of personal investment in this particular case. With that being said, how close do you think you guys are?
It's hard to say. We don't want to give too many details of where we are in our investigation, because that's just going to assist the suspect in changing what he does. That being said, we are working with, whilst we are primary on this case, as the majority of incidents have happened within Blaine County jurisdiction and a county jurisdiction, we are working with state law enforcement as well. The penitentiary that he was housed in was a state penitentiary, so the San Andreas Highway Patrol are assisting us in every way possible, and federal law enforcement as well have made assets available to us. So I can't give any specifics because that is only going to assist the suspects, but the public should be reassured we are doing everything and using all resources available to us to get this guy as quickly as we can.
All right, you guys said there was an accomplice.
That is correct. We do know that there is an accomplice associated with this case. We at first initially were made aware with the kidnapping, unfortunately, Larry, of your daughter Carrie. We were made aware that Mr. Cunningham was talking about a fairy godmother of some sort, or a godmother that he was, what we appeared to initially be under control of, that the godmother was kind of controlling his actions. We now believe that they are working together to achieve Ross's goals. We do know this person to be potentially related to the escape in some way, of the fact that we do know when we were initially investigating and questioning Ross at Pillbox Hospital following the arrest of him, that this accomplice was there during the time, posing as a sheriff's deputy with a stolen uniform and badge, all that fun stuff, as she had kidnapped the real deputy up here in Sandy Shores, and then drove down with us to actually investigate and talk with him. We do know this accomplice to be known as Ellie Johnston. At this time, we do have charges for aiding the escape from lawful custody, as well as aiding and abetting a fugitive. Again, we do know that Ross, Mr. Cunningham, I should say, refers to Ellie as his, quote, fairy godmother. We do know Ellie was born November 13th of 1998. She's a white female, approximately 160 centimeters in height, with about 110 pounds, with medium length purple hair. Also, she is known to wear numerous wigs and disguises, as we talked about earlier, with her stealing a law enforcement officer's uniform and putting a separate wig on. So she is known to change her hairstyle and potentially other facial expressions like glasses and whatnot. We do know that every picture we have, including driver's licensing, CCTV footage, and body-worn camera footage, that she is wearing glasses of some sort. So keep that in mind too. We are also aware that she does not have any scars, tattoos, or anything like that, so just be aware of that as well. She was last seen to be known in the area of Los Santos Hospital, CLS, where she was in a red pickup truck with Ross following an interaction we had immediately following the escape of Ross in the prison van that occurred on Route 13. Again, the warrant has been issued and there are charges. So she should also be considered very armed and dangerous. As we do know, she is not directly related to any of the murders herself by committing them herself, but we do know she again has aided and abetted potentially most, if not all, of the incidents that Ross has committed. Again, if there is any information on her, the documents, the wanted posters that were just handed out by Deputy O'Neill will have the remaining information there.
Yeah, thank you. It should be noted, however, that the red pickup truck she was last seen in has been recovered as of the early hours of today. So wouldn't expect them to any longer be in that vehicle. However, the descriptions are still accurate as far as we know. And yeah, considered armed and dangerous. Well, although we have no evidence that she herself has committed any killings, we don't have much information about her, so she may have done all sorts in her history that we're not aware about.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. Do you guys have any questions? I'll cede the floor to the other.
Yeah, any questions about Ellie at all? Ellie Johnston. That's just to be clear, that's Johnston. Johnston.
And I will make it clear before questions are asked, because I'm sure there will be a question or two on it. We are aware, obviously, of the escape that happened with Ross, and we do know that at this time, the only information we have is that at some point there was a swap of uniform where Ross was able to actually swap with the prison guard that was escorting him the uniforms and put the security guard uniform on, and that's how he was able to get away through the cracks, you know, and be able to get out long enough from us in an ambulance so that he could make an escape. We are aware that that happened, and we are aware that Ross was in the custody of the Los Santos, the San Andreas corrections, the state corrections system, and that's why the Highway Patrol has been asked to be involved in this, as it is a state agency, so it is a little bit better. So I will ask if you have any questions regarding the escape or you know why things were done a certain way. I would ask that you turn them over to the Department of Corrections, the Attorney General's office, or the Highway Patrol public information officers, as they'll be able to handle and you know deal with some of those questions a little bit more than us. But if anyone has any other questions or anything like that, feel free to ask them right now.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. We'd appreciate if you could, you know, get this out there as much as you can. Speak to any sources, any information that goes to yourselves. They can either be directed to Crime Stoppers, or if you yourselves could call us directly. Any information at all would be appreciated. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.